police, for example, just from like an administrator perspective?
A fine line with
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Newmarket Town Council meeting. Today's Wednesday, October 16th, and we will start, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So before we get started, we have one excused counselor, that's Counselor Cast, and then Counselor Burns will be participating remotely. And so, Counselor Burns, I just have two questions to ask. So first, was it impractical for you to attend this meeting in person tonight?
Yes, it was.
And is there anyone in the room with you?
No, there is not.
Thank you. So first item on our agenda is a public forum. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? All right. The next is to accept minutes, and so the first item is the minutes from the September 25th, 2019 joint Town Council and School Board meeting. I would accept a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the September 25th, 2019 joint Town Council School Board meeting minute.
Second.
Any questions, changes? Then call the roll.
Council Finch.
Aye.
Council Sanders.
Aye.
Council Dumont.
Aye.
Council Kuiper.
Aye.
Council Burns.
Aye.
Council Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Counselor Sanders, did you?
There was
No.
this one small thing. They said we were going to get our composting back, and we were getting our compost back. They're not going to give us back the composting material we gave them.
Okay.
I tried finding my button.
Yeah. Right. The next item is the meeting minutes from October 2nd, so I'd accept a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 2nd, 2019.
Second.
Any changes? Questions?
Who was the second? You get to
Oh.
make that judgment call.
Counselor Finch.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Councilor Finch.
Aye.
Councilor Sanders.
Aye.
Councilor Dumont.
Aye.
Councilor Kuiper.
Aye.
Councilor Burns.
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein.
aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
And then the next is the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I get into the budget presentation, I do have just two brief announcements. First, on November 20th, we're planning on having the joint meeting with the planning board to discuss economic development and other items. And second, next Saturday, October 26th, the police department will be holding a drug take-back day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They will accept any prescription drugs to take back except hypodermic needles. In addition, they are taking vape and e-cigarette pens, whatever they call them, back as well. So you can dispose of them there. And now, pursuant to the town charter, I'm presenting my 2021 fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 operating budget. Of course it is. First thing I want to go over some of the economic indicators that we look at before while we do the budget. Everyone talks about the consumer price index. That's the increase in goods that the public would be purchasing, for example, bread, oil, those kind of items. Last year we saw actually a significant jump in the consumer price index. Overall in the United States it was a 2.9% increase. Northeast Regional was a 2.7%, and in Boston, which we're part of, was a 3.4% increase. We're seeing that actually slow down. The United States had a 1.7% increase total, 1.6 for the Northeast, and 2 for Boston. Oil prices just haven't been rising; they've been actually dropping, so we're seeing that. And it's, knock on wood, it looks like the softening of the economy. Traditionally, in presidential election years, the economy softens to the point where you could even go into a recession. And we're starting seeing those indications. It just always happens because of the uncertainty of the elections. Next item that we tend to look at are the unemployment rates for the area, just to see how we're doing for jobs. The United States last year, not 2017, had an unemployment rate of 4.3%. It's actually dropped to 4.1%. The state had one of 2.5%, which is now up to 2.7%. The county was 2.7%, and that's up to 3%. The portion of the metro region, which we're part of, is 2.5%. It's dropped slightly to 2.4%. And Newmarket itself last year had a 1.9% and now increased to 2.1%. However, all those 2s that you see are pretty much 0. That is normally due to a fluctuation just seasonally, or just people who are underemployed. They're not looking for jobs any longer. So that, we have a extremely, I mean, as you can probably tell, people are looking for people to hire right now. So unemployment is not a factor. The current tax rate, and just for the public, this is an estimate. We have not set the tax rate yet. We have not been approved by everything by DRA. This also is reflective of the new assessed valuation. So what we're estimating the current tax rate will be is $24.26 per thousand, with the town being $5.41 per thousand, the local school at $15.93 per thousand, the state school at $1.96 per thousand, and the county at 96 cents per thousand. So the town itself, what we're discussing in this budget is that about a little bit of under 0.25% of the total tax rate. The largest portion is collected and goes to the school, and then the remainder goes to the county. When we say state school, I just don't want the people to believe that this is money that we send to Concord and receive back in some sort of way. It's money that we just we have to raise pursuant to state law, and we just keep it here. So it's not as if we get a check from the state for the state school tax. And this is just a 5-year comparison of the tax rate. As you can see, the town remains pretty level funded, for stable on the tax rate. Dropped last year due to the fact of the revaluation. So you saw it drop about $1, but it's still pretty level. And here's the impact of the valuation that I was talking about. In 2015, the town value was $722,436,271. This is what we can tax upon. So our value is now that we can tax upon is $977,203,228. The value of the town is actually over $1 billion. However, we have to take out the money that we exempt, the properties that we exempt for veterans exemptions, disabled exemptions, and those kind of items. So it just puts us just under $1 billion total. And now the budget for the fiscal year 21. I'm recommending a budget of $13,127,559, or an increase of 8.59% over the previous fiscal year, which was $12,089,547. Department heads proposed $13,870,136, or an increase of 17.73%. As those who've been on the council know, traditionally I cut that, which I did. So the total budget increase right now is $1,038,012. Enterprise funds is an increase of $256,622, and all other funds is $781,350. Just for expenditure by fund, general fund, which is the largest portion, is what is subsidized mainly by tax revenues as well as other motor vehicle revenues. I'm proposing a budget of $7,864,846. Department heads proposed $8,528,579. And last year, the general fund was $7,720,610. Special revenue is $1,155,000 last year. I'm proposing $1,201,083, and the enterprise is $3,156,942. And that number's not correct. I apologize. Where's the increase going? $191,220 is debt service for the McAllen Dam. We have to pay for the loan that the bond we're taking out for that. $28,727 is for finance department employees. With the school bringing business finance back under them solo, I had to hire a finance director. This is where that money will be coming from. In addition, when you look at the budget, HR has a full-time salary line in there now. We are going to be repurposing one individual in the finance department to be mainly dealing with payroll and HR, and while the other individual who's full-time will be who's the assistant finance director, will be dealing with the finances of the town, and hopefully a third individual will be a part-time clerk in the office if that comes to fruition. Police salary is an increase of $48,806. The police chief is going to recommend an additional police officer this year, and he will be providing the council with a report on that prior to the workshop. $104,779 for energy improvement lease. All these energy improvements that we're having the savings, we still have the budget for the expenditure. So this is the expenditure to pay off that lease. Buildings and grounds salaries is $54,281. Solid waste disposal contracts an increase of $29,000, and a contribution to the water capital reserve of $105,503. So those are the big numbers that we're looking at. The contribution to capital reserves, as the council knows, traditionally the capital improvement committee reviews the plan that the department heads put forward, and they make a recommendation to me to place in the budget. and then I make a recommendation to the council. For Public Works, the departments and the committee recommended $285,000. I recommended $75,000 contribution. The building improvement requested $278,000. I recommended $15,000 contribution. Roadway, they recommended $250,000. I agreed with them. Stormwater management requested $25,000. I agreed with them. McAllen Dam we zeroed out since we will be fixing that in the coming year. Fire and rescue requested $131,778. I reduced that to $50,000. Police vehicles is requesting $7, and I agreed with $7. And the reason for that is we've had the discussion in the past that police vehicles are not a capital item that should be placed in a capital reserve fund. Capital reserve are one-time projects. It's not an operational cost. Police cruisers are an operational cost and should be placed in the budget. We're also looking at that for the public works vehicles, that instead of buying it through cash, through putting the money in the capital reserve fund and taxing, we'd be leasing them and paying a lease payment every year until that is retired. It's just a different way to do it. When I got here, we had about $4 million in capital reserve with nothing planned for it. And we shouldn't have that. It's not a savings account. A capital program is an actual program to buy certain things. And we're getting to that point, and certain items should actually be in the operational. Police dispatch is requesting $26,566 contribution to the fund. I said $10,000. Veterans Memorial is $2,000. The master plan is $10,000. We both agreed. The 300th anniversary celebration trust is $2,000. So in 2027, we can have a 300th anniversary party. The library is requesting $30,000 contribution. I brought that down to $10,000. Recreational facilities are requesting $128,903. I brought that down to $86,050. And that is total. The departments requested $1.169 million, or an increase of 123% over last year for contribution to capital reserves. I recommended $535,057, or an increase of 2% over the previous year. And here's our revenue budget. We are seeing an uptick in revenues. The last year we estimated about $7 million in revenues. This is revenues not including property taxes, so our big ones are motor vehicle taxes, water and sewer rates, payers, and fees that we get for recreational programs and building permits, those kind of revenues. We're estimating that next year the budget would be $7.2 million in revenues, an increase. We're seeing a large uptick in motor vehicle registrations and leases at this point in time. A lot of people didn't buy them 5+ years ago due to the economy was soft, and we're seeing that turn around. So we are seeing an uptick there. And now, this slide is an estimate, only using data as we have today. This could be changed before we set the tax rate in October of 2020. What happens if everything passes? So what we have is the gross appropriation of $13.1 million. Then we do less the revenues of $7.2 million. Then we add overlay, which is money that we have to keep aside for abatements and items like that, of $20,000. Then you add the war service credits, which is the money that people don't have to pay for the veterans exemptions. So it's $160,000. So the net town appropriation will be $6,071,339. You take the assessed value of the town of $9,977,203,228, and we estimate the tax rate would be $6.21 per thousand. Impact on for next year. That would be a 78-cent increase over the previous year. There is one potential note, which would be so the environmental services director came into me that in order to receive a $75,000 loan from the state revolving fund, we do have to get permission from the voters to issue the debt. it's $75,000, but it's 100% loan forgiveness. So it's still no impact on the rates. It's to do a sewer system a survey to see where it is and how it's going. But we would have to put that on the ballot. And that is my presentation. As the council knows, we will have a workshop on October 26th, beginning at 9 a.m. Recreation will be first. Fire and Public Works will be second, followed by police, and then town clerk, tax collector, and I'm filling in the rest. So, that's it.
Thank you. Obviously, we will be talking about this in depth, but did anyone have any questions for Steve, for the town administrator tonight?
Or anything you need to know that we can bring to the meeting that day would be, so we don't have to, look around that day. If you need anything specific, just let me know, and we'll get it.
I have one quick question. I think quick.
Okay.
The funds that were just approved through the state budget, is that factored into any of this?
It is not. So
Okay.
there's two parts of that. One, there's $100,000 that we just received that we could use as unanticipated revenues to purchase something. My recommendation, one of the things you're going to notice in my budget is that I am not using fund balance this year's revenue. We do not have enough money. Our fund balance is fine. It's at 5% where we need to be, but I don't have any to buy down the tax rate or to use towards capital projects. We have been budgeting so tight that the budget to actuals are just about right there. So we need to, my recommendation for this unanticipated would be putting that towards fund balance. In addition, next year we'll have the same, well, we can receive another check. However, that's not unanticipated revenue because we are anticipating it now. So I would probably be recommending we revise the revenue estimates by the amount of the check at some point in time in the near future.
And then my only other question about the budget at this point is, you mentioned the exemptions. Has that been stable, or do we see a lot of fluctuation with the veterans exemptions and?
Yeah, I mean, for veterans, well, there's two parts. One, they expanded the number, the time frame of who could get an exemption, and so that we do see some more there. However, on the flip side, the older veterans are starting to pass away, so we're seeing some of the reductions there.
Okay. Thank you. And then the town administrator report.
That's my budget was it. Yep,
Oh, was there nothing else?
Nope.
Oh.
just the department head's report.
Oh, right. So did anyone have any questions or comments about the department head reports? Okay. Oh, Councilor Dumont.
Thank you. Steve, I just wanted to ask, was there any feedback from the police chief about the body cameras outside of the determination that they're not going to use them? Did they find it a worthwhile experience to test? Is there any sort of changes that they're going to have moving forward, just from how they interacted with the town having the body cameras? I'm just kind of curious because I know that they had the pilot program, but there was not a significant amount of discussion.
I'll ask the chief to write up a memo, just
Okay.
so I don't want to put words in his mouth.
I would
so,
appreciate it,
Yep.
but thank you.
So seeing no other request to speak, then we'll move on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Seeing none. We'll move on to resolutions in the second reading. So we have resolution 2019-2020-04, purchase of a 2019 ambulance, and I would accept a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2019-2020-04, purchase of a 2019 ambulance.
Second.
I think the fire chief's here who can explain his purchase.
The town has had 2 ambulances. We have 2 ambulances. First of all, and the town has had 2 ambulances as long as I've ever remembered. I'm going to be 50, so it's a long time, I'd say. We keep them for 10 years. Back in the day, we were doing 12. It wasn't working out for us, so we went back to, it used to be 10. We went to 12. That wasn't working out too good for us, so we went back to 10. The other ambulance is a 2016. We put about 60 to 70,000 miles on them before we turn them in. It obviously goes up a little every year because we're getting busier and busier. We got 3 proposals. The one before you was the cheapest. The other 2 was 210,000, and the other one was 229 for the same exact ambulance that is in the packet. We'll be trading in the 2009 ambulance. It takes 10 months to a year to build one and put it into service. All the funds come from the revolving fund, which was set up 11 years ago. That's a topic for the next meeting, I believe. But we haven't changed what we put into this fund. As you can see, in 2016, when we purchased that ambulance, when we took the money out, we had about 23,000 left in the fund, and this year we'll have about 6,400. So it's time to increase that because it's 3 to 5% a year for a new ambulance, and we haven't done anything since the fund was created. That's pretty much it. I don't know if there's any other questions. We do rotate the ambulances from primary, so from Monday to Monday. We switch them around for primary, so the same one's not getting every call. We do have a lot of dual calls where they're not back from the hospital or still on scene and another call comes in. That happens more and more frequently. But we do rotate them around as from primary to secondary to balance out the mileage and the wear and tear.
Are there any questions for the fire chief? I know I have some questions about the fund, but I think we can address those at the next meeting, because that'll be on the.
Yep.
We'll be talking about that. And so, seeing no comments, if you could call the roll.
Council Finch.
Aye.
Council Sanders.
Aye.
Council Dumont.
Aye.
Council Kuiper. Aye. Council Burns.
Aye.
Council Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Rick.
it.
The next item is Resolution 2019-2020-05, creating an ad hoc riverfront advisory committee, and I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-2020-05, creating an ad hoc riverfront advisory committee.
Second.
Any questions or comments about this resolution? Town administrator.
Thank you. We're going to use the committee to help advise the capstone project that UNH is going to be doing on the Riverfront Committee. I'm going to be meeting with the students when I get back from my conference, so not next week, the week after, and to go over some of the what's the town expecting from them, what they're expecting from the town, and the next step will be after we get the committee appointed, they'll meet with the committee to sort of get their ideas as well. But you have to form the committee, then you have to advertise, and then appoint them, so it's going to take a while before we get that committee filled, so I want to get this going.
Great. And, along with that, obviously there's a member of the town council who would be asked to serve on that committee, so if people, obviously we have to approve the committee first, and then I guess, would we do that at our next meeting, Steve? Is that, yeah. So people want to give that a little bit of thought, if that's something that they're interested in serving on. I think that it's having toured not because it's not just Shanda Park. I think it'll impact a large area of our downtown and riverfront. I think that this committee is going to be really impactful, and important to the future use of our riverfront. So if people want to give that some thought, and also give thought to, if there are people in the community who you think would do a good job serving on this or be interested in serving on this committee, give that some thought and reach out to people, because we have in the past had a hard time, depending on the committee, getting people involved. So I think that this is one that people will probably be interested in. And so, seeing no other comments, if you could call the roll, please.
Council Finch.
Aye.
Council Sanders.
Aye.
Council Dumont.
Aye.
Council Kuiper.
Aye.
Council Burns.
Aye.
Council Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Let's see. We have one appointment, and that's for the Conservation Commission, and it's for David Bell for a term that would expire March 2022. So I would accept a motion to approve David Bell as a Conservation Commissioner.
I'll make a motion to approve David Bell for the Conservation Commission term expiring March 22nd. And can I just add, thank you for putting your name in?
Second.
And I would agree. Thank you for putting your name in. It is an important commission that we have here in the community. So seeing no questions or comments, if you could call the roll.
Council Finch.
Aye.
Council Sanders.
Aye.
Council Dumont.
Aye.
Council Kuiper.
Aye.
Council Burns.
Aye.
Council Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, moving right along. So now we have resolutions in the first reading, and the first is Resolution 2019-2020-6, McAllen Dam Engineering Services. Whereas the taxpayers of the town of Newmarket approved a bond in March 2019 for the abutments and outlet structure rehabilitation construction project for the McAllen Dam, and whereas the GZA, Geo-Environmental Inc., designed and engineered the McAllen Dam project, and the State of New Hampshire Water Division Dam Bureau requires an engineer of record, and therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that that wording is weird.
Yeah.
That the Newmarket Town Council authorizes the town administrator to enter into an agreement with GZA, Geo-Environmental Inc., for engineer of record services for the McAllen Dam project in the amount of $166,000, with funding from the taxpayer-approved abutment and outlet structure rehabilitation bonded project. First reading October 16th, 2019. The next resolution is Resolution 2019-2020-07 to increase the ambulance revolving fund 14. Whereas the town voted to create an ambulance revolving fund 14 in 2008, naming the town council as agents of said fund, and whereas the fund needs to be increased from $45,000 to $75,000 annually to have sufficient funds for ambulance and equipment purchases in the future, and whereas the town has an ambulance revolving fund 14 already established, which names the town council as agents, now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the ambulance revolving fund 14 deposit be increased annually to $75,000 from the revenues generated in the general fund. First reading October 16th, 2019. And lastly, we have Resolution 2019-2020-08. I thought. Sorry.
Let me do it.
Sure.
Whereas the Newmarket Town Council has set one of its goals to improve and promote the arts in town, And whereas the town council wishes to create a committee to review and make recommendations on potential projects, now therefore let it be resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Newmarket Town Council does hereby create a committee to be named the Arts and Tourism Commission as follows. Membership. The Arts Commission shall consist of 7 members. One of the 7 members shall be a member of the Town Council. Terms of members. Members shall be appointed for a term of 3 years. Authorities and duties. The Arts and Tourism Commission shall perform the following functions. Study, consider, and recommend to the Town Council and to the Town Administrator or designee general policies for the arts and tourism in the Town of Newmarket, and develop and promote programs, forums, and exhibits that highlight the talent and active art-related venues currently existing within the town. First reading, October 16th, 2019.
Thank you. And is there any correspondence to the town council?
There is none.
And any closing comments by town councilors?
I have one.
Great. Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to wish our Madam Chair a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Councilor Finch?
Just a reminder from the Conservation Commission that the art show will be, the photo exhibit will be on display from November 2nd to the end of November at the Stone Church. So if you're looking to submit, please just check the social media accounts for Conservation Commission.
Thank you. And Councilor Kuiper?
I just wanted to thank the police department for increasing their parking enforcement on Main Street. I don't know if anyone looked at the numbers, but it's up significantly from the previous September's, and I think all of the downtown businesses appreciate that.
Great, thank you. I had just had a couple items. I wanted to mention that I had the opportunity to present the Boston Post cane to Teresa Bover on Friday. Tim from Channel 13 was also there, and hopefully we'll be able to see that on Channel 13 soon. But it was just a lovely, really, truly lovely event. She was a fabulous woman who lives here in town. She lived in the same house for over 70 years. She's 98 years old. So the Boston Post cane is given to the oldest resident of a community. And so she's 98 and had more energy than I did that day, and was, again, like, her whole family came, and neighbors, and it was a really great celebration. So I was really happy to have the opportunity to do that. So it's a nice perk to the job. And then a few upcoming dates. The craft fair at the Sunrise Sunset Center is happening this Saturday on the 19th from 8 to 2, and I'll be there selling things. And we have our budget meeting on the 26th starting at 9 o'clock.
Correct.
And you mentioned the drug take back day also on the 26th. Oh, never mind. I was going to say. I'm getting my dates confused. And then on the 20th is our joint meeting with the planning board.
Of November.
Right. Yes. Seeing no other lights, then we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.